Hi everyone, it's Keira and welcome back to Keira Megan F1. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing some tier lists on Formula 1 drivers. I asked you guys on Instagram what you wanted me to, rate them on, and I got really good answers from it. If you do enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for more content. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Tomo F1. Now I'm pretty sure he'd done this video, or he'd done some sort of this video. I never actually watched the video. I just saw the thumbnail and the title. I thought that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do something like that. So I didn't actually watch the video, but I'm sure it was really good. So go and check out Tomo F1 if you haven't already. But yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so this is my first tier list. Oh, I do need to move my camera angle as well. Is chances of winning a World Drivers' Championship. Okay, so let's just jump right in. First with Alexander Albon. I'm going to put him in possibility because he's in the Red Bull. It is one of the top 3 teams. It's got some sort of possibility to do that. However, with Red Bull, they're just very unpredictable. One minute he can be in the Red Bull, the next minute he could be on his bike. You just never know with Red Bull. You never really know what they're going to be doing. So, I mean, it's a possibility. He's in a good car, but at the same time, he's older than Max. Max is going to get the preferential treatment, and we all know that. So I don't know, I mean, the possibility's there, but I'm not entirely sure. Valtteri Bottas, honestly, not really likely at this point. I feel like this is probably his last season at Mercedes, and I just don't see him doing anything. I wouldn't even put it in a possibility because I just don't think it's likely that it's going to happen. Obviously, he did come second last year in the championship, but it's because, he's in that Mercedes. He was really nowhere near Lewis, so it's not really likely, unfortunately. I feel like after this year he will either move on to something else, retire, or maybe get that seat at Renault. Next is Pierre Gasly, and I'm going to put possibility because as much as I don't think that AlphaTauri is going to do anything for him, I feel like, well, I'm hoping another team will see his worth and maybe pick him up from the top teams. I'm not sure where the room is for that, but I'd like to think it's a possibility because he has got the talent. Looking at his GP2 series in 2016, he was absolutely amazing. So I definitely think he's got the talent for it. It's just whether he can get the machinery. Next is Antonio Giovinazzi, and I'm going to put not really because I don't think he'll ever have the shot in the Ferrari. Looking at Ferrari's driver academy and the drivers that they've got in Formula 2, I think they'd much rather prefer to put them in the Ferrari or even in the Alpha than the Ferrari than they would Antonio. I feel like he's kind of just filling the slot at the moment, and I know that sounds really bad, but I just don't think it's very likely that he can do it. I do feel like he's got the talent to be up there, but I feel like, again, if he was to be up there, he'd be like 4th in the championship. I don't think he'd ever be first. Next is Grosjean. Honestly, not a chance now. I feel like, Grosjean's come to the end of his career. He is in the Haas. I don't see anybody else picking him up. He's a good driver, but he hasn't quite got the extra mile in a way. I feel like even if he does pull to that extra mile, he tends to then fall off, crash, things like that. So not a chance. Lewis Hamilton, I mean, where do I put him? Because he's already got some. I mean, probably I'll put him in WDC in the making because A, he is already one, but B, I can see another one being made, if that makes sense. Like, I can easily see Lewis winning another couple of championships. I think he's got such good talent, and obviously he's in that Mercedes until he wants to leave that Mercedes. So I definitely feel like there's another one under his belt, another couple. It's just depending on what he wants to do and where his life takes him. Danny Kvyat, I'm going to say not a chance. I think Danny's had his time, he's had his peak in Formula 1. I feel like now, he's back in to show what he's worth, but I feel like the midfield is definitely where he is probably going to stay. I don't see Red Bull bringing him back up again. Well, I mean, we say that, they could do whatever, but I don't really see them bringing him back up, and obviously if they did, he'd definitely be a second driver to Max, so not a chance. Nicky Latifi, probably not really likely. I mean, I don't know where he'd go after Williams. And obviously with Williams, doubt even being in Formula 1 next year with their financial difficulties at the moment. I'm going to put him in not really likely, but at the same time, we know his dad's got a lot of money, so he could buy him Mercedes. I think that's been some sort of talk. There's just too much talking right now. It's all getting me confused, but I think in terms of Nicky, not really likely, and in terms of his driving style, I never quite get the extra mile from Nicky. Again, I feel like he's a good driver, but he's kind of always there. Do you know what I mean? Next is Charles Leclerc, and that's going into a World Drivers' Champion in the making. He is amazing, and I know everybody hypes him up, but there's a reason. He's such a good driver. He's so young. He's in the Ferrari. I feel like it's really up to Ferrari with what machinery they give him, because you can see he performed last year. He completely outshone Vettel. So it's just whether or not Ferrari are going to be able to give him what he needs to win that, because I definitely think he can challenge Lewis and then, you know, whoever else is in that Mercedes, aka George Russell. Kevin Magnussen, I'm going to put not really likely, because I feel like, again, he's had his time. He's nearly 30 now. I think he's nearly 30. I don't really feel like there's room with him, but I've put him in not really likely and not no chance, because in terms of Kevin's actual like performance on the track, he's a really good driver. He is a really, really good driver, as I touched on earlier. Okay, so next up we've got Lando Norris, and I'm going to put him in very big chance, and this is for two reasons. No, this is for like three reasons. Firstly, he's a really good driver. I think even watching him on the sim, he knows exactly where to place his car in every situation, and it's really good to see more of an in-depth look, I guess, into what he does, and I feel like he's really got the talent. Another reason is because McLaren could easily come up, especially with that Mercedes in the back of them next year. I feel like they could definitely be in the title contention. And another thing, and this is what I'm seeing a lot on Twitter, and I think this is what people are hoping for. I don't know whether it's going to happen. I think it probably depends on what Lewis does, but it's a George and Lando Mercedes 2022 grid, and that would be massive. Okay, so say for example Valtteri leaves at the end of this year, George replaces him, and then Lewis leaves in the year after, and then Lando replaces him, because Mercedes don't have a strong junior program. The only person I can think of is Paul Aaron, and I don't even know if he's still on it anymore, and he's like, I don't even know what he's doing, Formula 4 maybe. So I feel like Lando would definitely be a good choice for Mercedes to pick up. And then obviously if Mercedes is still on form in 2022, which I highly suspect they will be, that would be a good driver. Next is Esteban Ocon. I'm going to put him in not really, because I feel like now he's kind of cut ties with Mercedes now. Hopefully, I don't think Toto's still his manager, but obviously he's not to do with the Mercedes program anymore, and he's with Renault, and obviously we don't really know what Renault would do, and they've definitely said they want to stay in Formula 1, but whether or not financially they're going to be able to is another thing. I feel like he's definitely got the talent, but I don't know, he's a very, you know, oddball. I don't really know where he's going to be picked up, or whether he's going to ever have the opportunity to do it. Sergio Perez, honestly, I'm going to put not really likely over not a chance, because, you know, he is in that Racing Point now, or what will be Aston Martin, for a while. They've put a lot of faith into him, and you know, he is a good driver. As much as I don't overly rate him or like him, he is a good driver, and I don't want to put a limit on what Lawrence Stroll will be able to do with his money. I feel like he's going to be able to buy some massive things and probably get some massive gains, and I feel like we could definitely see that Racing Point or the pink Mercedes right at the top. So I definitely would not discount Checo for a world championship, but I'm probably putting not likely because I don't really want him to be there. But I mean, maybe I'll put him in possibility. I'll put him in possibility, to be honest with you, because that's probably where he should be. Kimi Raikkonen, not a chance for another one, to be honest with you. I feel like he's probably going to end his career at the end of the year, and either way, I don't think any top teams are going to take him. Obviously, he is 40 now, and I feel like, you know, he's had a really good career, but I don't see him, you know, wanting to continue it. Okay, so next up is Daniel Ricciardo, and I'm going to put him in possibility, probably because, you know, he's in the McLaren next year, and they are looking very promising to be one of the top teams, turn that into a top 4 team. It could even be a top 5 team with Racing Point. No, are they Aston Martin next year? I don't know when the season's going to start. No, it's starting this year, so, but he's going next year. No, wait. Yeah, so with Aston Martin, that's so weird, and McLaren, I feel like there is definitely a possibility that Daniel can be up there. I mean, I wouldn't give him a big chance like Lando, because obviously he is coming to the end of his career, but he's going to be in the McLaren, and I'm putting a lot of my money on McLaren being good next year. Next is George Russell. He's going all the way to World Drivers' Champion in the making. Oh my gosh, that man. I've spoken about this so many times. His racecraft and his ability in any car to shine is amazing. This man is dominant. He has dominated everything he has done, okay? And as soon as he gets to the Mercedes, I think he's going to wipe the floor with anybody near him. And I know I'm putting so much hype on him, but he's honestly amazing. And I guess that's like Lando as well, you know. Lando's dominated everything in his junior categories as well, pretty much, apart from Formula 2. But I just think George Russell is such a good talent. I can rave about it and rave about it and rave about it. He's gonna be a world champion. Mark my words. Okay, next is Carlos Sainz, and I'm going to put very big chance because obviously he is in the Ferrari next year, and we know that it's Ferrari. They are in contention for the World Championship most years, so I think he's got a very big chance. Whether he's going to do it, probably not. I feel like Charles is going to be the number one driver. He's going to be the first choice. So I don't think Carlos will go down without a fight, but I just don't feel like he's going to get it, but he's got a very big chance regardless. Lance Stroll, I'll put him in possibility with the similar lines of Checo being that that racing point, or that Aston Martin is going to be quick. Lawrence Stroll could buy whatever he wants, so he's probably going to buy everything in his power. I feel like it's going to be a very, very strong car, and yeah, I think Lance could definitely be up there. Max Verstappen, I don't really know what to say. I'm going to put him in possibility, and I know that that's probably quite low, but that's because I definitely think that he can do it. It's whether Red Bull can do it, and I know that Red Bull and Honda have been working really, really well together, and that power unit has really shone. But I don't think Red Bull will ever get there again, and I don't know why, but just personally, I feel like Red Bull will not get there again. And I feel like Max is, I don't really know. I think if you were to put Max in a Mercedes, I do think he'd wipe the floor with anybody, but I just don't feel like the Red Bull's going to give him it, so it's a possibility. And the last one is Sebastian. I'm going to have to put him in not a chance because, as I said earlier, I'm 99% sure this is the end of his career at the end of the year. He's already got 4 Drivers' Championships. You know, he's an amazing driver, we know that, but, you know, he's leaving Ferrari at the end of the year. I don't see anybody else picking him up. So unfortunately, I think Sebastian is going in not a chance, and it's really sad because he's a lovely guy. He's a great racing driver. He deserves more, but it's not a chance now. So there we have it. Those were my tier lists that I've done today. If you do want to see me do this again, then please let me know in the comment section below, and I would love to do this again. It's really fun actually, and it gives you more of an insight into my opinions on the drivers, because I'm very much a neutral in Formula 1. I love everyone. Like, it's very hard for me to say I don't really like anybody, apart from a few. But I just love the sport and I love it in general. But obviously I've still got opinions on people, whether, you know, it doesn't change whether I like them or dislike them, but I've still got an opinion. So I really like putting that in a tier list. It actually makes it really exciting, and it gives you more of an interaction between me and my thoughts. Again, if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe down below for a part 2 for this. And yeah, I will catch you again soon in a new video. Bye.